currently afternoon time. I am currently in our bedroom and I wanted to take some time to catch up and talk about this week, how it has been for me so far, and what the next few days looks like as well. Whoever is watching this, I hope that you have had just such a lovely week, and I hope that the start of February is going really well for you. For the rest of this afternoon, I actually am going to be working the next few hours. I have been doing so many things this week. It's been a really productive week for me. I have been working a lot on editing things. I've been doing a lot of just computer work for my 9 to 5 job, and then also for just posting on social media for my YouTube, for our podcast, and we also have been recording. So we recorded an episode at, when was it? I think it was Wednesday last week, and then we decided at the start of last week that Wednesdays were our podcasting days, which is a really big and exciting update because we actually have a day every single week that my sister-in-law Vidiani is here and we're recording, and we actually kind of converted the living room space of our Airbnb into a podcast studio. So I think that I've showed a little bit of that on this vlog, but it is so nice to just have a space where we primarily work out of, and when she's here for recording. So I set up everything in there, and that's been something that we have been working a lot on, Ricardo and I, just getting things in a place for our Airbnb that we're starting. And then we recorded last week. I edited that. I edited the YouTube version, and I edited and made sure that the audio was at a good place, and then I posted on those platforms. So last week's episode went live earlier this week, and then we were posting about it, and then we that went live on Tuesday, and then Wednesday we recorded for our podcast, which was last night actually. And then so I recorded with her all of last night, and it was so fun. We actually had such an amazing time recording. It's actually like a highlight of my week to do our podcast now. I spoke a little bit about this on my weekly catch up in my last vlog, that starting a podcast has just been a dream of mine for years now, and so it feels really special to actually be doing it. And it's something that my weeks have been, we have actually kind of created a pretty routine, like a very routine days in our week. Pretty much the weekdays during the week, there's certain things that always happen and that we always do. So Ricardo and I have been pretty much in that routine the last few weeks, and it feels really good. I feel so just good in a routine. I feel so productive. I feel so inspired. I feel like I have recently just been feeling like I have been showing up for myself completely, and I feel so grateful for that. And I feel like I have just been making the time for the things that I have been wanting to make the time for a while, and we've really just created and started these routines that I feel like I'm thriving off of, and so that feels really good. And I don't know if anyone is feeling any sort of not as inspired. It's February now, so I know that a lot of people say that you start out the year in such a way, feeling about your goals and hopes for the year, and that you can start to feel a little bit more discouraged. And if you are feeling that way, maybe like implementing some sort of routine that makes you feel good, whether that's like a morning routine, a night routine, or just like structure into your days, like where you are showing up for yourself more. That's like a really good tip, I feel like, and I've implemented that so much in my life. So this evening I actually have a stable lesson. So I am going out to the countryside. I'm going out to where I'm starting my horse lessons, and I actually started that last week. So Thursday nights are the nights where I am out at the barn, and last week was a dream come true for me because I have been wanting to do something like this for so long, and just the fact that I actually am starting it just feels, I was just with the horses and I was just there, and my instructor is like so, my trainer is so, I just love her already, and also she just like really took her time with me, and I didn't realize how much I'd be learning. So I'm actually learning so much just about my purpose for wanting to start with horse lessons is because Ricardo and I want to have a horse of our own, and there's a lot of prep work for that, and I wanted to prep myself, my knowledge and my experience more with horses. And so I am taking this time and this season of my life to prep for that, and she asked about that. So I actually told her, my instructor, that, you know, this is my purpose of why I'm here. This is why I am like allocating this time to just be with my favorite animals and also just learn so much from her. And she has already started like sharing so much with me, and I've already learned so much from week 1. And I actually was like riding, and I was like in an indoor arena, and she had a lead rope, and I was like putting my arms out, and I was just like riding on this horse, and she just like had me put my arms out. She had me do like no arms, and I couldn't believe that it was actually something that I was doing, and it just felt so special and magical actually, because like horses are just such a big thing to me. Like it's so important for me to spend that time with them, and it's one of my biggest dreams to have them. So to be at the stables every single week is not something that I like take for granted, and it just started last week, like I said, but I do have that tonight. And when I was in the office and I was working, I actually wrote out a few things that I wanted to share on our little catch up. I wrote out here just a little bit about this week. We've been prepping for our travel, so we are actually leaving. Today's Thursday, we're leaving on Sunday, but it's really like Saturday night at like 1 a.m. I think for Puerto Rico. So the whole week before leaving for a trip I feel like is prep week for me. So we've just been doing so much prep, and we have been prepping the house. We prep, someone's gonna be here a couple of times a day to care for our dog, so they came in, and they're coming in again once more on Saturday to kind of just see our dog Saint again. Just prepping like laundry and just everything, like the plain stuff for Archangel and the plain stuff for us. And I just love a trip prep. There's nothing like it, and it's just like one of the best feelings. And then like I was saying, that there's just been so much different like editing things this week. I'm posting a YouTube vlog tonight, so I'm finishing up the details for that. I actually have my laptop right here, so I'm finishing up the details for that. I did say that we posted episodes. If you haven't watched them, please go to our podcast, YouTube, or like Apple Podcast, and you can listen to our podcast episodes. There's a new one going live on Monday, but we'll be on the island, so I am actually I'm like editing it all and like having it ready to go live for Monday, so I'm not doing any like work on being away. I actually have a goal. I have a couple of lists. I actually have a list of what to talk about on my catch up with you guys, and then I have a list of finish up before going away. And I have to finish up this video. I have a few more things that I want to include in this video for prep, and then I have to finish posting the one that I'm posting today, and then I have to fully edit and upload our podcast for next week because I do want it to go live when we're there. The last thing that I have written out in here to talk with you guys about is our Airbnb that we actually booked for. We just booked it a few days ago for when we are in Puerto Rico next week, so we will be staying there for a few days, and we are actually driving out to the countryside of Cabo Rojo. I talked about that a little bit in my last vlog, but Ricardo found this Airbnb and I am over the moon about where we're staying, and I am going to be vlogging everything, but I talked about this a little bit on the podcast episode yesterday because we did write-ins from people, and people were talking about, someone specifically wrote in about like travel prep, and Vidiani gave a lot of like tangible like items to make sure you have with you because this person was going to Hawaii. But something that I said was a huge travel prep for me that I talked about a little bit in my last vlog as well is like just the visualization and the planning of it. Like I see the Airbnb and I can visualize like different things there, and then I did this for the first time for a trip on my last trip there in September, and I visualized things, and then when the moment came and we were there, it was just like, it just feels so magical. I feel like it's an extra way to romanticize your life, is just like visualizing how you feel at a place, visualizing, you know, how does it, like, how are you feeling, like who are you with, what is that moment like for you, and then it just feels so I guess extra in tune with yourself when you're actually there in that moment. And this whole trip has just been something that I feel like is really special to go back to. It's where my husband is from, and by extension it's where my son is now from as well, and I feel so connected to it there. So when we're not there, it is always a place that we are missing and longing for, and so it just feels like really special when you actually get to go back to this place. And Puerto Rico is just such a special place to us, and so to just visualize like how our days look there, and then time with family and just the memories, and traveling is such a special thing. So I have just been thinking about that so much, and basically I'm just trying to finish up things here and get things in a good place here so that when we come back, the house is prepped and ready for us for that week. And then you always get excited to go on a trip. Like, I should just speak for myself. I always get so excited to go on a trip and all the prep for that, and then you are so happy on the trip, and then you also, I feel like, super equally excited to come back home after the trip because I'm also such a homebody. And so the whole thing is just like kind of it's so nice to just often travel because you get like a refresh from your routine. You have a new routine somewhere else, and when you come back, you just feel so refreshed, so rejuvenated, and so reset. And so that's kind of an update on our end. I'm going to share more of my night tonight when I am going to the stables. Our nanny is currently here. She is with Archangel. for a few more hours. So I am going to finish up some work things for the next few hours, and I'm going to post this video and have it go live. And then I am actually going to probably have dinner with Ricardo, and then I'm gonna be off to the stables. And I hope that you guys are really enjoying this weekly vlog, and thank you so much for catching up with me, and let's go on into the rest of our week. To go to the stables. I have a horse riding lesson tonight, and it is actually my first lesson. And I recently, I think I showed this in my last vlog, I recently thrifted this vintage Carhartt jacket, and I have been actually looking for one so much like this. So when I saw this, I knew it was meant to be, but Ricardo saw it on one of the handles. The year on the handle and this little button on the jacket says 1889 to 1989. So it is vintage, actually vintage, and I can't believe that I found it, so I'm gonna wear it to my first horse riding lesson. I have the iron on. I'm actually gonna iron down a few of the details, but this is kind of like a dream Carhartt jacket to me. I'll probably have it for forever. And the jacket did have some stains on it, but I did put it through the wash and washed it fresh. So I will take you guys along with me this evening on my lessons and to the stables, and I'm so excited. I hope you guys enjoy coming along with me tonight. I just ironed my jeans a little bit because they came out of the wash the last couple times, needing a little bit of an ironing. So I ironed my jeans, and here's my jacket, and I'm also going to get my stable bag that I haven't used yet, and then I will also get my boots. I have to see which ones I'm gonna wear today, but the bottom of the pants were getting like folded weirdly, especially when I'd wear my boots, so I just tried to give them an iron. We'll see how that holds up tonight through the lesson and through riding, but I am just about to get dressed. I also have my vision boards out on my vanity right now because yesterday we recorded a podcast episode and we showed our vision boards on our podcast. That podcast should already be out by the time you're watching this. So if you haven't watched or listened to that yet and you're interested in seeing more of our vision boards for the year, I love mine so much and I go into depth and talk all about it on there.